Hey guys, so I was thinking, this past Friday Jacob just graduated from 8th grade at True North Classical Academy, and we couldn't be any prouder. I know all across the country kids are celebrating their graduations, and we're all finding new ways to express ourselves. And since we've started this YouTube video, I thought that it might be a nice opportunity to document the occasion and have it as something to look back at and say a little appreciation and get Jacob's take, because it was a special year for him. It was his first year back into a traditional school following a classical curriculum like the one he did in homeschool, which he had been homeschooled for the past 5 years. And I want to get his take and maybe offer any advice to other homeschoolers who are maybe on the fence and realize that maybe homeschooling is not the right fit anymore, but you also don't want in these uncertain times to sort of relinquish, I don't know, your babies. So I'm going to take a few minutes and interview you, Jacob, if that's okay?
Yeah, sure.
All right. So I wanted to get your take on this past year. As a homeschooler, where you were when you first got to True North, and how you evolved and grew over the past year. Will you tell me a little bit about your experience?
Yeah, sure. So it started with joining the football camp, or
Okay.
summer football.
Okay.
It was the school's first football team, so everyone who went automatically was in the football team. So it was a lot of fun. I definitely learned to like a lot of things, like exercise. You know, before I was like a chubby little kid. I didn't like exercise at all.
No. Hashtag Cogetti Spaghetti.
Oh, I had trauma from that. So, yeah, I learned a lot of things. So one of the things being, of course, to exercise, learning to love exercise, and also learning how to be a part of a team.
Okay.
You know, that's one of the reasons why I did so well, is because now I wasn't doing it only for me. Now other people depended on me. You know.
Adding to that, I remember your first day at True North, and I remember you coming home and saying, I can't do this. I can't do curriculum and I can't do football. But what you just said is that's called integrity, right? That you felt that you owed it to your coaches who had invested an entire summer in you and to your teammates, that you felt you owed it to them to stick around.
Yeah.
And you hadn't even had your first game yet.
Yeah.
Tell me about your first football game.
I mean, I was kind of excited. You know, it was my first football game, but a lot of things happened. Like, we didn't make a single point. It was horrible. And all the people there had full-grown beards.
So you were playing against a varsity team, and you guys are junior varsity.
Yeah, they even got fined because of that.
Because it's unethical, right? You don't
That
do that.
and it's against
the rules. It's not right.
Yeah.
Well, I know that we as the parents, we were all like, they're gonna play those guys.
Wow, thanks for the confidence.
Well, no, because they were twice your size. It wasn't a confidence issue. It was, it was a size issue. And football is a rough sport. So from a parent's perspective, you're just like, okay, here goes nothing. But it was an amazing game nonetheless. It was a sea of purple. There was you could count the amount of people on the other team that were there, and it was their home team, but True North always shows up, and I think that's really neat. I think that's something also that you learned, right? That just showing up and just being there is an amazing sign of support.
Yeah, and after that game, I was so stressed out in the bus, just awaiting the next game. I was trying to mentally prepare myself, because this was my first year of football, so also had to learn the plays in a short amount of time, and trying to juggle learning the plays and starting school for the first time in 6 years,
5 years.
6 years.
5 years, yeah.
It was a lot. It was definitely a lot to take in at once.
I remember, so when we didn't homeschool, Jacob, and he was in traditional schools, he did kinder, first, second, and third.
Up to third, yeah.
Up to third grade, and like, it's great that Jacob is a young man who doesn't have a care in the world, but as a parent, a lot of times he'd come home and he wouldn't have everything he needed. So that was a big topic in our house. Like, you didn't bring such and such thing, and in some of these other schools, once the children leave, the classrooms are locked and you can't get it. So even if you remembered when you're in the carpool lane, you're out of luck. So that was like a big thing when he started. So Jacob would bring home all his books every day. So his book bag looked like a hunchback with all the books. And I'm like, why don't you leave some at school? He's like, no. I rather bring them all, just in case.
Yeah. It was basically a workout before football practice.
It was, and you had to take your football bag, and you kept losing shoes.
Oh my god. Yeah, that's right. I forgot. And then you also got me a binder. That freaking big. I had my backpack, which was like my 500-pound backpack, my 300-pound bag full of my football stuff, and they had us carry everything: our helmet, our shoulder pad, everything, cleats, the whole
everything
thing.
was in there.
Then you also got me that binder, which was very inconvenient.
It was a trapper keeper. I used to use one in school. I found them very good for organization.
Yeah, but
it didn't work out. I guess.
No. But yeah, it was definitely a lot. So like, to anyone who's starting, like, wait like till like the second quarter to join anything. Like,
okay.
To homeschoolers at least.
But there was a question that I had asked you that I wanted to go on the record. Who made, of all your educators, and all of you are amazing, you really are, but I'm curious from your standpoint, who made the biggest impact on you and why?
Definitely my football coach, Coach LeBear.
Okay.
Yeah, because before I was like really, like, I was like, you know, like very chubby, very lazy. But once I joined football, I thinned out, I straightened up, you know. A lot of things I actually took from it, you know.
Okay.
Like silly things even, you know, like
what?
Like whenever I pick up something, like a sandal, like I never like do that anymore.
No?
I use my legs, you know. I still use a lot of the stuff from football. That, and ever since football, like, my back is straight, my chest is out, my shoulders are back.
That's right.
You know.
And what's interesting about that you say is, did your father, did Coach Eddie Spaghetti try to instill these things in you?
Yeah.
That's right.
But I think the difference was that I was also doing weights.
Okay.
So those kind of forced you into doing it. Also, they would yell at you if you didn't.
What you're trying to tell me is that I needed to mistreat you? No, I'm kidding.
No.
I know that wasn't the case, but that's interesting, right? So there's a saying that I would say often towards the end of our homeschooling. Once I'd already realized that it was no longer a good fit and that Jacob needed to transition to True North. That was always our goal. It wasn't just, transition to school. This is where we wanted him to be. Is that I would tell him that familiarity breeds contempt. And sometimes you're just too close to the subject. And there are some families who have wonderful results in that. And I made the choice because circling Jacob back when he was younger was very complicated, and I just didn't know what else to do. And then once I realized that it was time, now we're in the right place. So anyway, I got all tangled up in my thoughts, but you get the idea.
But now I finally graduated my first year of school. it was really cool. They really set it up, you know, especially during this COVID-19 era. And all the parents decorated their cars to celebrate their children. You know, we put balloons on our car.
It looked like a clown car. It's okay. I didn't have the school colors. It was what I had. I was working down to the wire.
But there was this one kid who had it all decked out. Like they painted their car. Like they drew like congratulations.
I know you're talking about.
Yeah.
That's Danny's kid. I graduated with Danny from St. Kevin.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah, and
but we didn't recognize each other until his son's birthday party. So I'm like, I don't know. Maybe we don't look so junk anymore.
But yeah, they had it all like decked out. Like I bet he had like some mask on. He had a purple, like the school color hat on.
He was really excited. It was really sweet, and they did all kinds of sayings on the back of the car. That was awesome.
Yeah. So we drove down like this road. They had like a bunch of police escorts, like telling us where to go to.
Uh-huh.
But when we finally got there, which was actually where we used to do football, which is now where like all the sports come to practice.
At Gateway.
At Gateway. So we went to Gateway. We turned in. They had it all set up. They had cheerleaders on either side of the entrance. They had signs for us. They had T-shirts, the whole thing, and it was really cool. It was
all the faculty and staff, right?
Yeah. Oh, and they even had like all the teachers lined up with signs saying like congratulations, you did it, all those kinds of things, and it was really cool.
I think it was
really
even
cool.
better than a graduation. The only thing that stunk is like you can't take pictures with your friends and things like that. But aside from that, I have to say that the whole experience was like I don't feel like we missed out. I think it was really amazing, and I thank all of you as well because he was flying solo. His dad and I were so grateful to have work throughout the pandemic. Apparently cakes were really popular on all of these birthday parades. Thank God. We were very, very scared at the beginning. We didn't know where things were going to go, and we were very fortunate to have work. But in the meantime, this kid was flying solo, so I'm proud of you. I know that it's hard to stay on point all by yourself all day at home. So anything else you want to?
No, I think that's pretty much it. Right now I'm trying to skip a grade, but that's for another story.
That's another story, yeah. So he's got some work to do this summer. He has some big goals. He'll probably be reaching out to his literature teacher for some assistance, some advice, and to Mrs. Finley. So yeah, Jacob has some big goals, and we're gonna try and help him get them there. The worst thing that'll happen is that if he doesn't make it, but at least he tried, he'll still be further ahead than you were if you don't try at all. So I'm telling you, go for it.
Yep.
Okay. Anyways, thank you everyone. Hey. So if you like these videos, you can go ahead and check out other videos that we have on our channel. And don't forget to hit like and subscribe. And we hope that you enjoy them. Thanks.